self-evaluation, which consists of the school self-evaluation and the external evaluation. You have been given a CD by the consulting firm that consists the handbook, the quality assurance handbook, and the school self-evaluation form. The school self-evaluation form, like my other colleagues said, is a DIY. You do it yourself. There is no evaluation that any external evaluator wants to come and do in your school that you have not done before they come, to monitor the improvements, the progress of the learners after having made the necessary provisions available. So school self-evaluation states in categorical terms the strengths and the weaknesses of the school. That is how the learners are progressed within a given period. School self-evaluation is validated. So the report you come out with in your school self-evaluation is validated by the external evaluators that are coming in from the ministry. So we want to look at the starting point of the learner, the present position, how the school intends to tackle the weaknesses so as to bring about improvement to where it is most needed. You see, we have been talking about quality assurance, but there is something that is new that we keep saying, and nobody has asked any question about it. We keep referring to learners. 5 years ago, what were we calling them? Students. So how come nobody has asked? Why do we keep saying learners? Why we don't want calling them students? Yes, they are still students. But the word learner is a QA language. We refer to them as learners because they come into the school system to learn, to move from point 0 to point 1, from point 1 to point 2. That is why we call them learners. And quality assurance, as it has been said over and over and over again today, is simply a focus on the learners, because we want progress, we want improvement from the present point to the next point. So we will look at the features of the school self-evaluation. School self-evaluation and external evaluation use the same criteria. School self-evaluation is a continuous process. You cannot say, external evaluators have not said they are coming, therefore you are not ready. No. School self-evaluation should be done at least once every session. School self-evaluation helps the school to identify or focus on those areas where improvements in their provision needs to be made. So you have to do it based on honesty. Don't deceive yourself. It is when you don't deceive yourself, you will then be able to move forward. Research has also shown that school self-evaluation helps schools to improve if it is done rigorously. That is, when it is done all the time. Keep it simple. Tell no story. Keep it as simple as possible. And let your teachers understand that we are not vigilante you. We just want to move the school forward. Integrate the school self-evaluation into the school routine management system. So you don't see it as something out of the ordinary. If it's part of the school routine, when the principal comes into the class to shadow the learners, that is to do learner shadowing. Learner shadowing is, the school head coming into a class during a lesson and just sitting quietly at the back of the class, listening to the teacher teaching. And also, let the school listen to and consider the views of their stakeholders. We have been told in so many times who our stakeholders are. The teachers, the learners, the parents, the SPMC, that's the School-Based Management Committee, the community, and also to focus on the impact of the school's action on learners. And also, schools are expected to have currently filled school self-evaluation form before external evaluators come to the school. Then this form that has been filled by the school head will now be validated by the external evaluators when they come. And such reports, that is the report of the school self-evaluation and the report of the external evaluation, will now be put together. And definitely they will agree, since the same criteria were used for both of them. Head teachers and school heads must put the school self-evaluation report alongside the school development plan, so as to be able to identify areas for improvement. And in school self-evaluation, focus is totally and only on the learners to find out the overall standards. That is, standards attained by different groups. Are boys doing better? Are girls doing better in English? How about the gifted children? How about different ethnic groups? Igbo, Yoruba. How about the students, the learners with special needs? There are some learners that have special needs. In what way are you catering for them? Conclusively, school self-evaluation report is the scorecard of any school. Things to note when filling the school self-evaluation form. Keep it simple and avoid jargon. Also, try to be accurate, try to be clear, and try to be honest. Make clear judgments. You should have judgments backed with evidences. Comment not only on the achievements of the school, but on the impact of this provision on learners. The school self-evaluation form should reflect the involvement of your school-based management committee and other community organizations on the school. So if your school is committed to quality standards, you should consider the following questions before you go on to fill your school self-evaluation form. Number one, how well are we doing? How can we do better? Here we are talking about the provisions and how those provisions can be improved. How will you do that? You identify your strengths, the strengths of the school, and the weaknesses. Number two question, how should our school evaluate the quality of provision? For any effective school self-evaluation, this form can be used over and over and over and over again by school heads. Number three question, does our school self-evaluation identify how